books. Oh jeez. I'm currently not home alone right now, so I'm kind of scared that someone's gonna walk in. But I want to talk about books. Specifically, this is a haul / review. I went to Barnes & Noble's. What is today? I have a calendar back there. Right there. I went to Barnes & Noble's yesterday. What is today? Today's the 3rd. So I went on the 2nd of March. Today is March 3rd, 2019. I went March 2nd, 2019. I'm saying this because my computer's busted and I don't know when this is going to get uploaded, but I want to talk about this one first because this is on top of the stack and I had this in my hand immediately. I actually read this book, which is The Wiccan Year by Judy Ann Knox. I've actually read this book before from a local library, but unfortunately they didn't have it anymore somehow, and so I was like, well, it's a really good book. I was halfway through it. I was in, because how this book is set up is, if I can get to it, it has seasons for each of the holidays, which is really cool actually. But I was in the middle of season 4, which was Ostara, which is also what's coming up soon. Oh, that's in bold quotes. So I was in the middle of this one when I had to return the book, the library one, and so I decided to actually buy this book because I've already read halfway through it. It was already really good, had information I liked, and I've been wanting to learn more about like the Sabbats and stuff. But I also like this because it talks about meditations to do the histories of the holidays, the gods and goddesses of certain holidays, sometimes kind of a bit, they mention it, don't go very in depth about it. She mentions also the, not solstice, but, things are happening, like, cosmically, like constellations and stuff. What constellations are up at what time, talking about things to do on this day. So on, what was it, Mabon? Completely mispronouncing that. They have something called Practical Craft, and it has a different activity for that thing. And they have sometimes recipes, and little tips on it, and it's actually really cool. I really like it, and I'm halfway through this book, so this is the only book I've read in this entire pile so far, or have at least had my hands on, because my local library, apparently doesn't have a lot of this stuff available in a way. The next book is this one, Little Bits of Pendulum, An Introduction to Pendulum Divination by Danny Bryant. I'm presuming Danny is a woman, because a lot of the times with the D-A-N-I spelling, that's a woman's spelling, as opposed to D-N-A-Y. Now, I've never read any of these, Little Bit series, and so, I say that the same person's writing it, but multiple people write it. But, I do have pendulums. I have a pendulum board. I don't have it right now that I can show, but I do have pendulum. I have a pendulum. Somehow it broke in a weird way. The day I bought it, it shattered. But I do, use, I don't have one on me, but I do use some of my raw cut crystal, my raw crystals, and, crystal necklaces I have for pendulums also. But I like this also. I've never read it, mind you, but it's really cool because it talks about pendulum circles. Also, this inside is really pretty because it's gray this way. The cover is a pinkish purple with a beautiful yellow, and then silver, and then the first page, page is this, and then the page, the words are purple. I don't know if you can see that or not. But, it talks a bit about pendulums, I suppose. I haven't read this one yet. Like I said, I've only read this one so far. So any of these I have no idea really. I skimmed through them. I did a quick skim, like a ooh, what is this? But this is actually pretty cool because the pendulum circles, it talks about like different types of circles you can use and like different crystals, moon phases, chakras, colors, career, love. It talks about all that stuff, and it has an alphabet one, and they also have blank circles in here for you to use. They come with 5, and each circle has a different amount. So this one has 5 like section offs. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, I believe, and then so on and so on. It basically gets bigger and bigger. But I never read this book before. I looked at 0 recommendations for it, but like I do have pendulums and I kind of wanted to read more about them. Because I always see like, oh, history of pendulums, and I'm like, oh, whatever, that's boring. But then it's like, I kind of do them, so it's like I need to kind of know how. This one is also from the Little Bit books. The Little Bit of, but it's palmistry, and well, look at that. It's so pretty. I've always been into palmistry. Like, my dad knows how to read palms, and my, like, half-sister does, and stuff. And I don't. It's just something I never had, like, people teach me or talk to me about. But my dad knows how to do it, my half-sister knows how to do it. And so, I really wanted to get this, because this was, like, one of the only books I can, like, find that talked about palmistry that didn't feel very textbooky. Because this also shows, it talks about it, and it shows, like, parts of the palm. So, like, they'll show you, like, the line of where it is, and it'll talk about that line. Which, funny thing is with my palm, I have this line that just goes straight, but this, on my hand, the heart line goes just here on my right hand. On my left, it goes completely across, which I read up about that, and apparently it's twice as more likely to be in men's palms than women's. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. But, it's also very pretty. It's like a dark, like almost like a very dark navy, with like the purple and like the light blue. All these books are always made so pretty. It's like, has like this really, like, the same color blue as like, this part is like inside. And then it's the same kind of dark bluish purple as the main base covered. And it's just, oh, I didn't say who it was by. This is A Little Bit of Palmistry, an introduction to palm reading by Cassandra Eason, I think? Eason? She's done a couple other of this book series. She's done crystals, I believe, runes, and tarot. I wanted to get this one. Is The Stars Within You, A Modern Guide to Astrology by Julian McCarthy, illustrated by Alejandro Cardenas. And I wanted to get this because the only astrology book I have right now, which is like right there on my shelf, because you're on my shelf currently. Don't know if you can tell. It's very out of date. It's a hand-me-down from like, I don't even know when it was published, but it's very old. It talks about like, it's good for basic information, but it's also very old in the sense where it talks about like, oh, don't gamble on this day in 2000, or not 2000, like 1987. It's like, that doesn't apply to me because I didn't exist in that time period, so I like barely like missed the 90s by like 2 years. I really like this because at first I thought I was going to get this, but it's really cool because it has a very beautiful picture of the sign, and it talks about it like here, So it does like a quick overview, like Aries, the symbol it is. And it says the leader, March 21st to April 19th. And it says the ruling planet, it says who the ruling planet is. And like, yeah, symbol, main descriptors, duality, element, quality, keyword, etc., etc. But then on here, on like the next page, continuing with the Aries, it says progression in planets, which it talks about, I believe, the main part of what Aries is. And then it talks about the symbol, and then it talks about the myths that each of Aries, but all of the zodiac signs have this, and it's really cool. But what really got me with this one was, if I can find the chapter, get past Pisces, it talks about the planets in your chart. So it talks about your sun, your moon, and it has each sign, all 12 signs, and it would be like sun in Virgo, sun in Mars, or no, sun in Libra, sun in whatever. I am born Libra, and I'm a born Libra, so I believe mine would be sun in Libra. I am actually a moon in Scorpio, which I just happened to turn to, be a page away from turning to. And so it talks about that. It talks about the ascending, the Mercury, Jupiter. It talks about all the other planets. But this part that I've never seen in astrology books very much, or at least in a cohesive way, is talks about the 12 houses. I don't know if you can see it. Like the 12 houses, and then all that stuff. And then like things, because I have no idea personally what a conjunction is. A trian, opposition, sextile, square. I don't know what that means, so it talks about that too. So if you're like a beginner in astrology, it's really actually helpful. And then it talks about doing your charts and stuff. And it's just, I don't know, I just really liked it. I almost didn't buy it until I saw that it did that, and I was like, oh my gosh, cool, awesome. I only got 5 of these books, mind you, because I was not in there for very long, because I needed to, I was just seeing what they had. There was a couple books I did find that were on my list, because I had a list that I didn't get, because I was like, oh, I still don't know, or, oh, this book just kind of holds information I already have or already know about certain things, or just couldn't find most of the books, to be honest. But, I also just had to, like, all I really came in Barnes & Noble for was to renew my membership, which all this stuff was 100 plus, including a gift I got from my cousin, who is a football fan, because the gift is football based, I am saying. But, actually this next book is it's pretty rad, and it talks about, there's some things in here I don't know if I would use personally, because I personally don't really work with herbs. I'm kind of iffy about herbs, because there's so much herbs that, like, yeah, it's not 100% my thing. I do have someone in my coven who that's more that thing of, but it does talk about, like, herbs, basic herbs and tinctures, and like how to make them and stuff, which is still really cool, but it's definitely not 100% my thing. But it is Practical Magic, A Beginner's Guide to Crystals, Horoscopes, Psychics, and Spells by Nikki Von Dekar, illustrated by Katie Vernon, and it's just so pretty. Like, look at that, it's so gorgeous. I just realized the TV's on, and I have no idea if you can hear me, and I really hope you can. But, like, the inside is, like, so pretty. It's, like, a gold, like a matte gold. But it has, like, stars and, like, that. I think there's, yeah, on this one there's a rune. It is Othello, I think. And this is actually cool because it talks about a little bit of everything, which is really nice. So I would probably recommend this for people who have no idea where to start and don't want 3 million books about things that they may not actually use. Instead, it's in one book. And it talks about chakras, crystals, auras, herbs, So as I was saying, hi, hello, next day. I got interrupted from last night, from when I was originally filming, because we had to take off our bed. We have a new bed now. I'm going to show you because I'm lazy. And I had to go to, like, a birthday party real fast for my cousin. But as I was saying, continuing on with the book review of this one that was interrupted on, I kind of like this book because it talks about a little of everything. And I was in the middle of talking about the contents that it, like, has, because it comes in multiple parts. So, there's part 1, part 2, part 3. I don't know how to change a page, apparently. No, I think there's only 3 parts. Part 2 is called Magic for the Weekend Wiccan, and it includes, under the very basics of, like, in the gold print that you probably can't see right now, it says Healing with Herbs, and this is what I was saying, how some of these I might not use because I don't work with herbs personally, but Healing with Herbs, such as, like, how to make tinctures, herbal oils, and, like, common herbs and their uses. Plant-based magic, such as how to make sage sticks and, like, common plants and how to use their magic. And then it does have pagan holidays, which is a cool thing because I've been trying to learn more about that. White and white magic. But with part 3, it's called Casual Clairvoyance, and it includes a lot of the stuff I'm more into than part 2, which is tarot, astrology, palmistry, which I've really been wanting to do a lot more lately, which is why I bought this book. All of my books are to the side right now. Now they're closer. And the dream interpretation, I don't know if I said that or not. But it's really cool because it's like, look, that's so, if it will allow me, beautiful. It's like a really nice watercolor. And it's really cool because it also has some images like this depicted in each thing. Also, this wire, is my cactus lights, which you didn't see last time earlier because they were put up because, like I said, I had people bring me to bed. And it's so pretty. Like, and it talks about crystals. It has really nice stuff. And then it talks about, it's so really, like, rad. Look at me, 20 years old, in 2019, saying rad. But it's just, like, really cool and stuff to me. Because instead of having, it's also nice because this has everything you need in it. Essentially, like, the very, very simple basics. So, as opposed to having, like, 50 books on astrology, 10 books on, like, different types of divination. Or no, it'd be 10 books on astrology, 50 types on, like, different types of divination, and, like, 30 with crystals and all that stuff. You can just have it in, like, this one basic book, and then you can buy books around it. So, I currently, on my bookshelf, which you can't see, or not my bookshelf, but on my shelf that has some books on it, of my more pagan-y sorts, I do have one astrology book, one tarot book, 2 books about Norse, like, mythology and, like, history and stuff like that, one crystal book, and one kind of spell book that I don't know if I would really use. I got it as a gift, so I didn't really buy it. But, like, I mean, I've also had at least 3 of those books are hand-me-downs. One of them was gifted, and 2 I bought with my own money. I currently have Crystal Bible Volume 2 on there, but I also have 1, and I wanted to get 3, but I didn't get 3. What is today? So, I started originally actually filming this on March 3rd, which was yesterday, and this is already March 4th. It takes me 2 days to make one film. Lovely. But I actually wasn't thinking about getting this book at all until I saw, because, like, this is me in the bookstore. Oh! Kind of thing. But I didn't think, kind of was like, because I didn't really notice the contents, I did notice that it said, like, all of, like, this stuff on it and stuff, and so I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I noticed that it had a palmistry section. I'm like, oh, I have to get it then now, because, yeah. And it talks about how my other palmistry book talks about, which is, like, the major lines, like lifeline, heartline, headline, and then some minor lines. It talks about mounts and markings and, like, that sort of stuff. And so, actually, it's really cool because it has a dream interpretation section. Hold on. A dream interpretation section, which I have such fucking weird dreams. Like, ridiculous. Like, people always tell me, when I talk about my dreams, they're like, oh, like, you should totally buy, like, those dream, interpretation books, or you should totally journal that stuff down. And, like, I used to journal it down a lot, and then it came to the point where I either wasn't having a dream that day, or I just didn't remember it, so I didn't write it down, and that would happen for weeks on end, and then I would completely forget until I had another dream. But, like, my dreams get really bizarre. I might actually, I should do a video of that soon, but my dreams get super bizarre, and people are like, oh, it can't be that bizarre. It's like, no, this isn't, like, you being whisked away by Brad Pitt, and then you're married. This is, like, the world ending, planets crashing into each other, everyone's dying, the sky is on fire, we have 3 moons, like, that stuff. But, yeah, these so far, I've also been reading more of this, a little bit more of this. I'm already on Beltane now, and I finished Ostara. But, yeah, these are actually some really good books, and I would definitely recommend, especially this one, The Practical Magic. And these cost a little over $100. That was because I also had to renew my membership for Barnes & Nobles, and because I bought a $19 gift for my cousin, whose birthday we did. So yeah, all these books, 5 stacks, not that bad. And so, I mean, I guess that's all really right now. I really, really do recommend to anyone who's able to have witchy books in their house or wouldn't be questioned, definitely Practical Magic is, like, very yes. Because it does. It talks about everything. It talks about herbs. It talks about white magic. It's really good. I'm kind of rambling at this point, so I guess, I'm already at 8 minutes. I just did the 8-minute mark. So I guess that's really it. Oh, I have indigestion. I'm waiting for my dad to pick me up for school, but yeah, I guess that's it. So, bye. I need to figure out how to end these videos.